Hello, what is up ladies and gentlemen? It is I'm the one and only Piglet here, and I'm from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Sonic Advance 2 for the Game Boy Advance. So last time we have basically just went through Ice Paradise as Tails, and also we managed to able to went into my least favorite zone in the game, which appears to be Sky Canyon as Sonic. And also we did manage to win through Techno Base from Zone 6 as Knuckles, and also we did manage to able to, wow, what else? Grab 3 more Chaos Emeralds. So today for this episode, this might actually be the finale portion of this particular Let's Play of Sonic Advance 2, or whilst if you want to count the extra video which should be up until at some point this Thursday, much like the forms of Sonic Advance 1. So I think there might be some expecting for some extra stuff here and there. So anyways, as you can see, today for this video is the fact that in addition to able to go through the 7th zone in this game, which appears to be known as Egg Utopia. And also we might as well able to get ourselves the 7th and the final Chaos Emerald, assuming if, depending on what playthroughs you're going to be playing as. And also to top it off, there's going to be the final 2 zones in particular as well. Like, for example, once you're done with Zone 7, there is the final zone, which appears to be XX Zone. Remember the X Zone from the likes of Sonic Advance 1? XX Zone, please help, it's like a boss rush, so it's nothing to deal with any platforming here and there, which we'll point things out whenever we get into the actual XX Zone, but because of that though, we'll talk more about it until later. And obviously, as you can see on screen, we're going to be playing as Sonic once again, just for the sake of the forms of he's the main hero, of course, to be expected with most Sonic games ever since then. So, but either way though, and as you can tell, since I'm going to be still need to be focusing on grabbing those final 7 of those special stage rings, and because of this though, we're able to actually get into the final special stage in the game, which is of course the 7th one, obviously. So for Egg Utopia, it plays kind of similar to Cosmic Angel Zone almost, and it's at the same time, well, let's just say Cosmic Angel Zone from Sonic Advance, except the fact that, well, it takes place in the forms of the actual space station or something. And in addition to that though, it's the fact that, well, unlike in Egg Rocket Zone as well as Cosmic Angel Zone, basically those 2 zones don't divide it into individual acts, because Egg Utopia is actually still contains both acts. So, you know, you get the idea of how this will go. So, and originally I was able to try to do this as on the first attempt, but again, trying to hunt for those special stage rings is a nightmare if you really want to go through every single Chaos Emerald throughout the whole game. Well, there is a guide to you if for those if you have a first time experiencing Sonic Advance 2, then more power to you, because otherwise that's much like in Sonic Advance 1 Special Stage Springs, and even eventually at some point next year for Sonic Advance 3 for trying to able to actually hunt the insane amount of those chows as you would like. So, but either way though, that's as far as I can usually think about it. So, yeah, Egg Utopia is actually not too bad, honestly, even though there might be still some bottomless pits every now and then, especially noticeable if you went outside the actual Egg Utopia zone, which is of course during the outer space section. That, if you somehow fell off, it's bottomless pit. So, yeah, you have to be very careful on that front. And also, there's going to be a few occasional cheap enemy placements sometimes, like these really annoying mouse-looking robots, which, I swear to God, I always attempt to able to get hit by them super easily, as a matter of fact. But regardless, we found every single of those special stage rings, and once we've obtained the 7th and final Chaos Emerald, assuming as you can tell I'm playing as Sonic for the sake of this zone, or else I'm gonna have to do any other characters off screen on my own time, and hopefully just try to showcase off some extra bits here and there. So, anyways, here we go on to the final special stage in Sonic Advance 2, and this one most people seem to have a lot of trouble with. Clearly it's because you have to rely on the forms of, you know, the ring chain system. And it gets pretty sparse later on though, especially noticeable if you keep on screwing up. then you're probably not going to get as many of those rings during that particular chain reaction thing right here. And, you know, because most of these rings have been split up every now and then. But I still find it pretty easy, but sometimes, though, is the fact that whenever I manage to able to do my practice run of Sonic Events 2 on the special stages, I keep on getting screwed over by missing by one ring left after I've managed to get the Chaos Emerald within. And also every now and then, though, is the fact that was also another trickiest part about this particular special stage, as you can tell, that if you really want to try to able to pull off more combos with the actual ring chain reaction thing, whenever you come towards the actual curves of the corners, as you can tell, if you try to slow down every now and then, that Zero will decide to catch you up. But again, luckily though, if you get hit by Zero, you lose 10 rings, so it doesn't matter if you manage to able to actually just to get hit just once, unless if you're trying to able to keep on ranking up your rings total count. So, but either way though, this is still one of the hardest special stages in the whole entire game, just because you know, it's getting pretty sparse when it comes to like ring chain reactions every now and then. So regardless of such though, we'll just try to pick up the last few 5 bonus rings as far as we can able to time our jumps correctly. Sometimes my depth perception trying to able to grab those 5 rings wasn't as easy as it looks, but luckily for me I did manage to succeed by that point. So, and of course I'll be back for those off screen with Tails, Knuckles and Cream during at some point. So, but either way though, and there it is, the 7th and the final Chaos Emerald. It's actually not too bad actually, even though I will still say this is one of the hardest special stage of the bunch. But luckily for me, it's actually rather easy compared to the forms of Sonic Events 1 7th special stage because of the depth perception, and also same applies to the forms of you never know where the rings actually are. But let's just say this right now, spoiler warning, if we get onto Sonic Events 3, I had a horrible time on Special Stage 7 in Advance 3. Because let me tell you, I actually really despise that. But then again, no, we'll point things out whenever we get into it next year, so... Anyway, so now let's move on to Act 2 of Egg Utopia Zone. So, but even then though, again, it's not that difficult, honestly, unless there are some cheap enemy placements every now and then, and especially noticeable with a lot of bottomless pits most of the time, especially in the outside portion of Egg Utopia Zone. So, but either way though, but I'm sure I can get used to this, so... But I digress. So yeah, obviously today's day, if you couldn't tell what today it is the fact that today's day is, of course, and I do apologize for hitting that microphone slightly, today's day is the 15th of December today, in this case in 2020. We've already got 10 more days to go for this point, folks, until specifically Christmas Day. So that should be pretty exciting for those of you who are able to be looking forward to, you know, this holiday season and all that stuff, though, despite, well, you know, this year's gone really, really bad and stuff like that, which, as far as you guys should probably already notice by that point in time. And to top it all off is the fact that hopefully you might as well able to, like, well, we'll discuss more about it until whenever we get into, well, Friday the 25th of December, obviously, so... But I digress. And also you get this, well, I don't know about you, but either way, though, I have no idea why I'm trying to explain about this right now. Oh yeah, one thing I should probably forgot to mention is the fact that there are some dash rings, which I did not notice that was there, because I think I'm pretty much used to with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, for, like, small extent. Oh wait, I don't think the air rings does not appear in Adventure 2, but to be more specifically, Sonic Adventure and Sonic Heroes. Sonic Heroes, yeah. Sorry for a little bit of a, my throat problems at this point, but hopefully I was able to recover it, assuming if I was trying to able to actually focusing on, or just trying to concentrate on the next zone after this, which is of course XX Zone. Although, after that though, assuming if you're trying to able to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds as Sonic, you get yourselves an extra zone, much like the forms of the Moon Zone from Sonic Advance. So, but either way though, that's how it goes basically. By the way, with that tape over there, depending on what color panels you're going to be you know, stopping for. If you stop at the yellow block, it gives you like 800 points. If you stop at the blue path, you get like 500 points. Oh wait, I think it was actually like red. And although I may be wrong, but anyway. So anyways, as you can see, we ended up onto possibly one of my favorite bosses in the game, which appears to be buddy forms of known as Egg Frog. Yeah, I'm not kidding, that's what the actual name of this robot is. So what makes this fight is kind of cool is the fact that you can able to maneuver different gravity every now and then. Like, you can either just battle against with Egg Frog from the ground, or you can able to battle against with him up in the ceiling. So yeah, this seems very interesting, but if you really want to go up in the ceiling, just press the directional pad up. But if you want to go back onto the ground, just press the directional pad down. And vice versa if you're trying to able to actually just try to hit him and hope for the best. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky though, because sometimes I swear the actual luck factor decides to able to come in at me. Like, eventually that Egg Frog can either just stay put or just move on to the ceiling or the ground. So that'll be the only trickiest part about this battle to me though, just because most of the time it's because of how the fact that I always have to be very cautious and be careful, especially I need to keep on grinding for some more rings every now and then, but hey, at least it's something, alright? But you know, you get the idea, and much like the forms of Sonic Advance 1, basically, the entire boss fight is the theme itself is actually a lot different, so it's worth pointing out. And that concludes Egg Utopia Zone, and the next zone where we're going to be heading to is XX Zone, which meaning that it's going to be a boss rush, so I'll let you guys play for some music. So yeah, if you must have known by now is the fact that unfortunately I've wasted about 6 lives, because sometimes I always attempt to die on certain boss fights, which either way though, that's not my fault or anything, it's just I'm blaming on my keyboard controls. So anyway, so here's the forms of the final portion of the XX zone. That's what appears to be by the forms of the final boss, assuming if you don't have all the Chaos Emeralds in mind. Or, depending on what characters you're going to be playing as, either Tails, Knuckles, or Cream, basically that was the final boss for them. And basically, his name was the Super Egg Robo Z. What is this, like some sort of like a Dragon Ball Z kind of name style or something? I don't know. So anyways, to begin with in this boss fight is the fact that, well, obviously we need to attack those little little fist things, which I don't know exactly what these things are called, but even then though, because I'm sure enough you have to take care of these things first. Now after when you're done with those two things out of the way, you were able to deal with the main Super Egg Robo Z himself. And we need to use these platforms, by the way, in order to able to deal the damage on him. Well, it can only be damaged on his head. Although, unfortunately for me though, trying to use the middle platform will be a bad idea, because otherwise you won't able to judge your death, or in this case, you won't be able to make it to the hit. In fact, whenever I first got to there as a kid with either Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles, I can never seem to able to actually beat this guy super easily. But if you manage to play as Cream, on the other hand though, she can really try to able to decimate him. Which, even then though, that could be something, alright? Especially noticeable how the fact that, you know, Cream the Rabbit, she can be very broken. But either way though, I have no idea why I just died right there. But luckily, you can able to actually respawn right onto the actual boss fight itself. So thankfully there's a checkpoints here and there. Every time you die, then you can able to retry that particular fight again. So, but either way though, oh jeez, it's gonna be like Sonic Advance 1 Let's Play that I'm very worried about the fact that if I somehow waste all of my lives during the forms of the XX zone and get a game over in the process, I will have to redo the entire zone all over again. But, if I got my old cards correctly, I will definitely gonna have to do a better strategy than this, so... But you know, you get the idea. Oh yeah, and occasionally every once in a while though is the fact that the Super Egg Robo Z managed to love spamming the forms of that particular, well, trying to shoot the eye laser at you. So either way though, yeah, that's the only thing you need to watch out for as well. And of course, don't forget is the fact that if you see on that particular ceiling, you have to watch out for the actual spikes at the ceiling whilst those platforms trying to carry you out. And because of that though, you really can't afford able to not only just trying to able to get hit by those spikes, but also don't get crushed here and there as well. I'm not exactly sure you get crushed onto those things exponentially, but I'm sure they were able to get it just a bit, so... But yeah, it's definitely a bit trickier, but at the same time, it's actually rather easy compared to the forms of the Egg Z, or Egg X, as far as I'm trying to able to pronounce that, because it has been a while since we actually played Sonic Advance since August, so... But I digress. But again, if you know what you're doing, you should be okay, but for the first time players, might seem to get a bit struggle at first, but pay attention to that particular green blastable stuff if you manage to try to take down these little arms, as you can see there. That way you can able to get attention to its timing. So, at least that'll help you for a bit, especially noticeable because of how the fact that, well, relatively speaking, you can able to do it okay enough. And yeah, just to let you know that yes, we're actually on 0 lives right now, so even then though, but again, 0 lives meaning about the fact that you only have 1 chance left, so good thing that Dims managed to able to do this kind of tradition kind of stuff though, like kind of like the similar thing as in most recent 3D Mario games throughout, so you know, you get the idea of how this goes, so I think we've only got about 2 hits left, so... Eventually it gets a bit aggressive and harder, so if I were you, I think I should probably wait here until when the platform starts to rise, and then when the actual the eye laser beam starts to finish, then you can able to actually finish him off like no sweat. And there we go, that concludes the XX zone, and now it's time to see, well, let's just say the normal ending, assuming if you're able to, well, you know what I mean. And the others end the same way, so they still managed to able to fall down to the highest height, while the actual Egg Utopia zone has managed to able to, well, almost about to explode, and then, yeah, it doesn't matter, there's no alternative endings or anything. Although one thing I should mention is the fact that during the Cream's ending, when she falls down to the ground, you do realize is the fact that she managed to meet up with her mother, which appears to be Vanilla. That's her mother. Wait a minute, I thought that Eggman just managed to kidnap you, huh? What? Anyway. And this is what happens if you don't collect 7 Chaos Emeralds. But in the end, we did get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, and when you do so already as Sonic, you'll be able to actually access to the special zone, as you can see on the far right of the map. And this actually leads us to the extra zone, known as True Area 53. Kind of an odd name for a level, huh? Alright, and why do we get ourselves a truth name on there? I have no idea. Anyways, here we go folks, on to the extra zone in Sonic Advance 2, and it's only accessible if you play as Sonic, in addition to collect all 7 Chaos Emeralds in hand, and this way you're able to actually fight against the true final boss in the game, which apparently it doesn't have its proper name, even though some people attempt to call this True Area 53 boss, so I just have no idea. But anyways, yeah, this boss fight might be, it might be actually be harder compared to the forms of how it does it on Sonic Advance 1 Supersonic boss fight, because in a Supersonic boss fight in Sonic Advance 1 is a total joke. But in this particular fight is so awesome. Like, it has the most intense music, and also the actual fight itself is almost like super intense. Even though whenever I first got to this particular boss fight for the very first time, I just seemed to have a bit of struggle at first. But basically, the entire portion of this boss fight, all you have to do is just basically we need to send those little missiles right at the front of that particular boss. You know, kind of like the same thing for how it does it in Sonic Pocket Adventure, except the fact that obviously he'll go all over the place. The only thing he needs to keep him worried about though is of course the ring counter will start to drop. Because to be expected with most supersonic final boss fights, that you have to collect as many rings as you can, because if the ring count goes to 0, you're going to lose and you're going to have to start the entire fight all over again. And that's no good. Anyway though, and also another thing about this as well is the fact that it does have a lot of hit points this time around, as opposed to the forms of how it does it for 8 hit points, unlike the previous boss fights that we've already come across into in Sonic Advance 2. Even though, as you can tell, is the fact that during the forms of what just happened since the actual the cutscene cinematic, is that Vanilla Cream's mom actually got kidnapped. So it's up to Supersonic managed to able to save her. So and even then, I will say, I actually really do enjoy that particular cinematic cutscene when Supersonic managed to Sonic managed to transform into its super state, just like the forms of how it does it on Sonic Advance 1. But even then though, this seems pretty awesome. Anyway though, as well as the actual music itself, as I mentioned this before. But if you do get enough hits on him, then that was it. That was the forms of the extra zone and also the true final boss of the game. So, pretty satisfying, and I will say this is miles harder than the forms of how it does it on the Advance 1 was. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that was it for Sonic Advance 2. A pretty cool ending is the fact that obviously Sonic has managed to save Vanilla, so yeah, that seems obvious for that particular ending there. So let's give my final thoughts of Sonic Advance 2 of how do I think about the game overall. Honestly, this game is easily one of the greatest Sonic games ever. I will still prefer Sonic Advance 1, but hey, at least Sonic Advance 2 is also great. Like, the music is magnificent. It's actually one of my favorite Sonic soundtracks of all time. And also, the gameplay is super fun because you can go super fast and all that stuff though. And the story is pretty simple, even though it's kind of like the same thing for Sonic Advance 1, really. And the graphics themselves looks really phenomenal, even on the Game Boy Advance. It also has some very unique zones to it, like music plant, techno bass. Oh man, those themes are so cool. And the controls are pretty simple as well. So the only nitpicking things I have two problems I have with the game is that first of all is the fact that getting those special stages is a nightmare because you have to find those special stage rings and all that stuff though, which is a bit tedious enough. And also I found that this game does have a lot of bottomless pits every now and then, which should be expected with most DIMS games nowadays. But also the boss fights is actually pretty cool looking, but there are some I really did not big fan of. Mainly with the forms of Egg Go Round, and even especially noticeable with Egg Saucer. So, but even that was my only problems with the game. So yeah, you can definitely recommend to get this game every now and then, but just be very careful not to get the fake cartridge version. So, anyways, I'm going to meet you guys until on Thursday for some extra videos, so I'll see you guys until then.